vast, complex system of interconnecting riverways, isolated swamps and lakes, a habitat to rare species of plants and animals found nowhere else in the planet, and home to the indigenous Agusanon Manobo community of Mindanao. Take a closer look at the amazing world within the Agusan Marsh Wildlife Sanctuary. The Agusan Marsh Wildlife Sanctuary lies within the Agusan River in the province of Agusan del Sur, northeastern Mindanao. Its ecological significance spurred its protection through Proclamation Number 913 in 1996. In recognition of its global value, the Ramsar Convention included the Agusan Marsh Wildlife Sanctuary in the Ramsar list of wetlands of international importance on November 12, 1999. More recently, in 2018, through the Expanded National Integrated Protected Area System, or INIPAS, it received stronger protection under Republic Act 11038.
So, Agusan Marsh Wildlife Sanctuary is considered a cradle of life in the province of Agusan del Sur because it's actually a catch basin. The water coming from Davao, Compostela Valley, and Surigao merge in Agusan Marsh Wildlife Sanctuary dito sa Agusan del Sur. Kasi lahat ng tubig, dito talaga siya hinuhold ng Agusan Marsh Wildlife Sanctuary. So without Agusan Marsh Wildlife Sanctuary, yung Butuan City will be submerged underwater. Yung mga municipalities along Agusan River will be flooded during times of heavy rains, during times of rainy season.
The Agusan Marsh Wildlife Sanctuary features 7 types of wetland habitats. Notable among the wetland habitats found in Agusan Marsh are peatlands, peatlands cover only 3% of the Earth's surface. But according to the International Union for Conservation of Nature, or the IUCN, about 30% of global carbon is stored in these peatlands. That's twice as much carbon that is stored in the world's forests. The protection and conservation of peatlands is crucial in mitigating the impact of climate change. When preserved, peatlands could sequester more carbon and lower greenhouse gas emission. But if destroyed, they will emit tons of CO2 and other greenhouse gases to the atmosphere. Agusan Marsh Wildlife Sanctuary holds the Kaimpugn Pitlands, which is considered the largest and rarest known peat swamp forest in the Philippines.
Peatlands, as I said, your typical landscape. They may seem idle, but God has placed it here for a very specific purpose. That is why we got to protect it. It serves as a sponge during wet time. Now take note, in the end months of the year, I'm talking of October, November, and December, it is the time where we do experience severe weather disturbances. At the middle part of the Agusan River Basin, that's the catch basin. The peatland serves as a sponge, preventing water from immediately flowing downstream. Take note, without the Agusan Marsh and without the peatland areas, all of these floodwaters would simply flow downstream, inundating Butuan City, that's for sure.
The Agusan Marsh is actually a unique ecosystem. It serves as a migration flyway of migratory birds of Southeast Asia. And it is home to some endemic species, just like the Philippine crocodile.
Apart from being a rich feeding ground for migratory birds during winter season, it likewise provides refuge to a host of rare plants and animals that include Philippine endemic but threatened species like the Philippine crocodile.
Isa ding unique feature ng Agusan Marsh Wildlife Sanctuary is the presence of our brother manobos, the Agusanon manobo, who live in floating houses.
Paradise is found where nature and humanity coexist in mutual symbiosis. Modern science and traditional practices are key approaches in conservation, where indigenous peoples have mastered stewardship of their natural environment. The indigenous knowledge systems and practices of the Agusanon Manobo community contribute to the economic, ecological, and socio-cultural value of Agusan Marsh Wildlife Sanctuary.
Yung mga brother or sister IPs natin na nandito sa Agusan Marsh Wildlife Sanctuary, sila yung partners na natin sila in the park management because sila yung nasa loob ng protected area. So in terms of our biodiversity activities, in terms of our enforcement activities, sila yung tinatap po namin dito. So sila mismo in their area, within their area, sila po yung tumutulong na maprotektahan po nila yung area nila because they are benefiting from the resources within the Agusan Marsh Wildlife Sanctuary. I would just like to add also the unique interplay of human and wildlife interaction in Agusan Marsh Wildlife Sanctuary. So yung harmonious relationship po ng mga tao with the wildlife is parang part na po kasi ng life ng mga tao, yung mga animals na andito sa loob ng Agusan Marsh Wildlife Sanctuary, and they considered parang yung spirit guide din nila, yung mga wildlife na andito sa loob. Example po yung crocodile. They have a great respect for crocodile kasi they believe na yung spirits ay andun din sa mga wildlife na yun. So they have practiced rituals para magbigay din galang in the divine figure, parang ganun po, na nag-guide sa kanila in their day-to-day life.
Sa ako lang, nakita jud na ako ang Agusan Marsh. Pinaka-importante sa amuak sa usa ka tribong manubo sa Agusanon kay maunay amo ang paningabuhian. Kung walay Agusan Marsh, dili sa ingon nga pagpaubos na amo ang pagkatao. Maglisod jud mi kung way Agusan Marsh, diha tanan ang amo ang kinanglanon. Kay kung way Agusan Marsh, murag dili jud makapa-eskwela ang mga tribo sa Agusan Marsh kay ngano maura ni amo ang yaman kaning isda. Importante lang pagaampingan sa sunod pang henerasyon para ang akong anak masubay pa sab nila, makita nila kung unsa ang kaklase sa isda, kung unsa kadagkuon. Muna karon na naningkamot mi sa kaming pangidaron nga among gihatag sa among mga anak sa mga kanang kinaiyahan nga maayo para sa sunod ila gihapon madala sa ilang anak para ang kinaiyahan hangtod nga hangtod daw sama sa ingon sa akong nabalhan nga habang buhay.
The management of this Agusan Marsh is actually directly handled by the PASO office, which is situated in the marsh. We have an office there, and the PINRO is supporting in terms of management and the technical aspects, in the monitoring, and especially in the enforcement activities like in the Lawin.
The convergent efforts of national and local government, local residents, indigenous communities, as well as local and global environmental organizations have all managed to keep Agusan Marsh a sanctuary protected for both nature and humanity.
For the past 3 years, we organized, we have Bantay Danaos. They are biodiversity brigades, as the DNR. We collaborated with the DNR, the PASO office. We organized them as patrol officers or wardens along the different lakes as well as the forest in the marsh. And at the same time, we develop a resource-based livelihood. We have proliferating water hyacinth. We convert that into sleepers, as well at the same time charcoal briquettes made of water hyacinth. Also, we have wetland grass, the tikog, they call that as tikog. We train the locals to make bags, baskets, At the same time, we have unique trees or a fruit tree, katmon and libas and other wildlife fruit trees within the marsh. We trained the locals or the IP community. We have now cookies made of katmon and libas at the same time the jam making.
We are also promoting ecotourism as part of the conservation activities in the marsh, wherein the local communities are engaged in ecotourism or biodiversity-friendly enterprises to further conserve our natural resources in the area. So we're capacitating our local communities to be part of the management of the protected areas because the protected area office could not do this alone.
Understanding the little-known facts about wetlands and their value to humanity leads one to ponder on how blessed we are to live on this planet. Truly, the Agusan Marsh Wildlife Sanctuary is one of the rare treasures you will find on our fragile earth. Where land meets the sea, the rhythmic dance of nature generates life. Gracefully swaying to the tides of change, it soon transforms into a nurturing abode from ridge to reef. Today, biodiversity flourishes at the Mabini Protected Landscape and Seascape. The Mabini Protected Landscape and Seascape covers the coastal areas of Compostela Valley and the province of Davao del Norte, including Pindasan and Copiat Islands in the Davao Gulf. Owing to its verdant terrestrial and rich marine resources, it was brought to the spotlight of conservation as a component of the National Integrated Protected Area System, or NIPAS Act of 1992. In May 2000, it was proclaimed a protected area.
Comprising of 6 coastal barangays of Mabini, approximately 14.5 kilometers stretch of shoreline. Lahat na coastal barangay ng Mabini is covered by the MPLS. Previously, covering more than 6,000 hectares of seascape and landscape, including mangroves. And last 2016, i-validate again ng DNR, naging more than 7,000 hectares na lahat ang total land area ng seascape and landscape natin dito sa Mabini.
It is also included in the 94 legislated protected areas under Republic Act number 11038, or the expanded National Integrated Protected Area System Act of 2018. 7 coastal barangays are covered by the protected area, and these are San Antonio, Tagnanan, Tibagon, Pindasan, Del Pilar, Cuambog, and Cadunan. From its dense inland and beach forests to the rich diversity of marine life, the Mabini Protected Landscape and Seascape is home to endemic, rare, and endangered wildlife.
The protected area is very rich in corals. And in fact, we have this banner species, we call it barramundi or hunchback grouper. And that's what we use in our logo. And it's also one of the rich areas for fishing, and it's part of the Davao Gulf wide expanse of coral reef and marine resources. And we also have this species of turtles, and these are endangered species that need to be protected. This area is just few of the remaining areas that have excellent population of corals.
The collective conservation efforts of the government and the community, such as the Scubasurero, a monthly coastal cleanup of underwater garbage, are important in achieving a sustainable future for the Mabini Protected Landscape and Seascape.
Bilang Municipal Environment and Natural Resources Officer, Ang trabaho ko po is from ridge to reef. So since ang coastal po namin is isang MPLS, may mga series of activities kami na ginagawa dito like coastal cleanup, then mangrove planting, then we have the Escobarero.
We were formed by our PASU 2016 to invite us kung ano yung pwede naming maitulong in our environment, especially sa aming protected area. So kami na grupo, we are the Blue Brigades. Isa kami sa mga PO na na-create ng Office of the DNR. Ang aming participation is to clean up the whole shoreline protected area of Mabini.
Kaming mga kababayan-an, mitabang yun sa pagtanaw, sa pagprotekta sa among mga yamang dagat dinhi sa among lugar. So naga-schedule mi isa sa isa ka bulan sa pagpamunit sa mga basura diri sa among mga palibot sa hunasan kay mahadlok mi nga ang mga basura makaadto sa dagat, so makadaot na siya sa atong kalikasan. So kami nga mga Women Association dito sa MPLS, nagkaroon kami ng mga project, halimbawa man lang sa pagluluto, banana chips, taro chips, ginagawa namin yon para makatulong kasi hindi tanan ba nga, dili tanang panahon nga mag-adto lang mi sa dagat magsaling. So
as this picture-perfect beauty and its rich marine resources begin to attract commerce and tourism, the Mabini protected landscape and seascape is confronted with issues and problems that often come with development. Foremost among these is the management of garbage and illegal fishing.
Marami tayong mga tinatawag na POs, People's Organization, na meron tayong mga assignments, no? Kasi dito lang sa Mabini, protected area natin, because of the tourism, marami na tayong basura, bulk of garbages na dito. Isa sa problema natin dito is the illegal fishing. So, dati-rate maraming putukan dyan. So, maraming mga bahay dito sa isda natin na sira na. That's the reason na nagpapatrol din kami dito to drive out the unnecessary illegal fishing.
It is inevitable that Mabini will become, as I have said earlier, one of the tourism destinations. In fact, the provincial government by Governor Tyrone Uy has promoted that area as part of the loop, as I have said. So meron tayong mga hot springs, meron tayong mga inland bodies of water, and so coming from, is either from the ridge or from the reef, that is one of the destinations na pinopromote ngayon ng provincial tourism. We have very nice beaches there, which entice people to come, and of course with tourists, we have garbage and development along the prohibited shoreline, and yung tulad ng Boracay, no? Na along the beaches, developments proliferated, and that is what we have to manage as a protected area, because protected areas are the last frontier of our true natural resources. That is what we are looking into.
Conserving nature is not just about preserving the beauty of landscapes and seascapes. It is understanding our critical role as wise guardians tasked to nurture and protect. Key to all this is embracing development that is both sustainable and science-based, and the kind that is in balance with nature and the environment.